There have been a fair few Doctor Who fan games over the years, but this one I dare say is rather different. For starters, it's not technically a Doctor Who game, it's more a Doctor Who inspired game, and it's been my pet project for the last month or so. The game is called VORTEX, and it's still very much a work in progress, as you will see. This video is a demonstration on what I've created so far, which currently includes an array of systems and features, one of which is the TARDIS, or as it is called in my game, the TISAT. I would also say this game acts as a spiritual successor to a previous Doctor Who based project I embarked on many years ago now, a demonstration of which exists on this channel also. I'm taking several ideas I had planned for that game, and I'm reworking them into this current game, which I'll be showcasing in just a moment. But before we get on to that, I want to explain briefly what the overall concept for this game is and what I mean by it being more of a Doctor Who inspired game. It's not a blatant Doctor Who game, it's very much based on the ideas and concepts contained within the first 5 decades of the canon, but with my own interpretations. I like to think of it as being set within the world of Doctor Who, but thousands of years into either the past or future of the lore, which, shall we say, allows me to take some creative liberties. The game is most definitely, however, intended for proper, die-hard fans of Doctor Who, and everything in it references certain aspects of the show. You will definitely get a lot out of it in that respect. Unlike my last Doctor Who game, however, which was built on the Unity engine, this game is being built on the Roblox engine. I'm doing this primarily out of efficiency, as Roblox has systems such as large-scale multiplayer support automatically built in, which means less work for me. But now, let's take a deep dive into the current features the game has to offer. First, we'll take a look at what will be the main draw for most, I imagine, which is the TARDIS system. However, they're not called TARDISes in my game. Here, we call them TISATs. Completely different thing. To spawn your TISAT, you must first open your inventory. You then summon your TISAT by clicking on the TISAT inventory item. This item acts as the primary way to always summon or call your TISAT to your position. Once summoned, you can customize your TISAT's exterior form by accessing your exterior inventory to change the exterior to something that suits your tastes. I should also note that all TISAT sounds you are about to hear are placeholder sound effects. I don't actually intend on using sounds sourced from Doctor Who itself. You can also access the TISAT key here. This allows you to remotely control aspects of the TISAT, such as takeoff and door lock control. Speaking of, let's open the doors and take a look inside. This is the default TISAT control room, and like the exterior form, you can also change the interior to suit your desired tastes. This time, you need to access the interior inventory via the interior inventory button located on the TISAT console. These are the current designs I've managed to create for the game, but the possibilities for both future interior and exterior designs are virtually endless. What good is a time-travelling capsule if you can't, well, time travel? Let's leave Victorian London and get a change of scenery. Piloting your TISAT is relatively straightforward currently. You simply select takeoff via the primary flight control and then set a location through the locations control. Once this is all set, you then return to the primary flight control and select land. Like I said, it's a pretty simple system, though the amount of code suggests otherwise. I'm thinking of ways to complicate it, or at the very least add some functions to make the process a little more interesting. The system itself is largely inspired by the TARDIS systems found in Second Life, which I feel still remain the best TARDIS simulators you can find out there if you've not tried them out. The Gmod TARDIS systems also act as inspiration, but to a much lesser degree. Londinium. A stormy, mysterious but cosy Victorian city with steampunk inspirations. This unassuming locale has become a stronghold for various factions fighting in the Chrono War, and acts as the hub world for the game. Sector. The primary human military faction fighting in the Chrono War have their base of operations located here in Londinium. Even though Sector belong in the 51st century, this hasn't stopped them from constructing their stronghold among the smoke and stone of the Victorian age. Skaldun. The vicious homeworld of the most dangerous species in the universe and the primary enemy of the Chrono War itself, the Kavaks. This race of mini-tanks have no time for mercy. If you find yourself in the spiked halls of Skaldun, then prepare to fight. Another faction stationed in Londinium is the Veiled Order. This controversial organisation are the leading enforcers of law and order within the galaxy. While their motivation is true, their brutish rhino-like enforcers, the Jagaroon, will stop at nothing in their quest to preserve justice. You may notice that all locations have a certain griminess about them. This is intentional, and it's because the game is set during a time war, or as I'm calling it, the Chrono War. I'm doing this primarily because it allows me to keep a consistent aesthetic and theme across the entirety of the game. The genre of game I'm trying to make here is really in the vein of an MMORPG. I find that a common problem with many Doctor Who inspired games is the over-reliance on TARDIS based gameplay. This is fine, especially if the system is great, but this can tend to get boring quickly if there is nothing else to do in the game itself. This is where my quest system comes in. To accept quests, you will need to find a quest giver, whether that be an NPC or a quest terminal, like this rather fetching blank white cube here. Like MMOs, the quest's details will be displayed in a quest window before you decide whether to accept or decline the quest. Once you've accepted a quest, you'll then be able to view your accepted quests in your quest log. This is the most recent system I've added to the game, so it likely will need further work, but it functions how I want. This is in the game to give players a goal to aim for. Quests will be the primary method of obtaining XP, currency, and various items. The quest I've accepted, which is the only quest you can accept right now, requires me to kill 5 Solgan warriors. Also, keep in mind, you will be able to keep track of your quest's progress inside your quest log. This leads nicely into the game's combat mechanics. Ah, there they are. I wonder what I could have possibly based these creatures off of. Combat in this game is essentially a rather simple third-person shooter mechanic, though due to how Roblox works, you can enter a first-person mode. The combat itself is rather primitive and a little janky, and could do with some work, but for now, it does the job. Currently in the game is also a companion system. This system revolves around the idea of K9 and is based on the companion system I had going on in Doctor Who. However here, K9 is renamed to D09 because it looks a bit like dog. Anyway, you spawn in your K9 companion through your inventory, the same way as you spawn in a TISAT. When spawned, your companion will follow you wherever you go, and you also gain access to the companion menu. This currently has very little functionality, and only serves as a way to store your companion. The plan is to eventually have various behaviours and skins to choose from. If you happen to find yourself in combat with your companion by your side, he will engage with the enemy, though this feature has a slight bug where D09 will fly far above the enemies when attacking, but you get the idea nonetheless. So, that's everything to show off currently. I've been meaning to make this video for a while now, but I've been waiting until I had added enough content to actually warrant a video. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. I have a lot of plans for the game if there is enough interest in it. I have many larger scale ideas I'd like to incorporate. And if you do like what you see, then by all means share your thoughts in the comments below, or make suggestions on what you think I should add or change. Furthermore, if you'd like to contribute to the project in some capacity, then I'd be happy to consider that also. But for now, that's all I have time for. See you next time.